Mwah. What's up, YouTube? Poor.Mans.Podcast back with another video. Today's video is forced to pay child support for a child that is not his. Okay? This topic I'm super passionate about. Story time. Quick story time before we get into it. I ain't trying to waste y'all time, but just hear me out. I know y'all got the attention spans of goldfish. You know, all of us do here in America nowadays. But just hear me out, all right? I had a friend when we were really, I'm only 25. So when I say like we were young, we must have been pretty young. 9th, 10th grade. Met a girl, nice girl, dated her for like 4 or 5 years, whatever. She ends up going to an alternative school, and we stay at the normal public school. Turns out she ends up pregnant, okay? So as a 10th grader, literally 15, 16 years old, no older than that, my friend took on the responsibility of being a father, all right? Every day, and we're in Minnesota, need I remind you, every day he would ride his bike to school, 9 a.m., 8 a.m., get into school. Right after school at 3:30, he would ride his bike to work to take care of this child, to provide for this child. He took on the responsibility. He would ride his bike to school, then right after school at 3:30, ride his bike to work. Stay at work until 10 p.m., from 3:30 to 10. Then ride his bike all the way across town back home to do homework and take care of the child. Because the mom just wasn't being a decent... I'm not going to start getting insulting, okay? But I'm really passionate about this topic because I literally watched the life drain from his body. He looked like a shadow of his former self. He became unhealthy from the stress of it all. As a 10th grader, he stepped up to the plate and became the person he needed to be for months on end, for about, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. I'm not sure exactly the time frame, but it wasn't quite a year, I don't believe. Turns out rumors start circulating. Maybe she was messing with the dude that was at the alternative school with her. And we just decided, she's all right person. I don't think she'd do that. So he continued. Eventually, the doubts started to come about. And that's when eventually he got the DNA test. Okay? He got the DNA test, and it turns out, of course, he was not the father of the child. Okay? He was not the father of the child. And that implies that this woman was sleeping with him and another person at the same time. At the same damn time, which is disgusting of an act in and of itself. To go from one man's bedroom to another man's bedroom and might have been the same day is just disgusting in and of itself. Okay? It's disgusting. So, and I see, like I said, I seen the life drain from his body as he was trying to take care of this child. And when he found out that it wasn't his, he went into an emotional spiral. Probably this is the happiest guy I've ever seen all the time. Okay? The most relaxed, calmest, happiest guy I've ever seen. Just high on life all the time. Okay? And it took so much from him at a young age. He then began to obviously have trust issues with the women he dated in the future and this and this and that. But that's neither here nor the fact of the matter is it can happen to anyone. That's why I'm so passionate about this topic, and it's happened to people that are close to me. So I'm not going to waste too much of y'all time, but that was just a little story time. Now let's get into the video so we can see what happens in this particular case. Forced to pay child support for a child that is not his. Here we go.
Now to at 10, News Channel 3 getting to the bottom of a burning question one Memphis man has been trying to answer for years. Why is Shelby County Juvenile Court forcing him to pay for a child that is not biologically his? What's even more unusual, he says the judges at Juvenile Court have an idea who the real father is.
Yet they're still demanding he pay up. Now he's turning to On Your Side investigator Stephanie Skurlock for help.
Talk show TV makes millions off the catchphrase, "You are not the father." But the reality in Memphis is just because you're not the daddy doesn't mean Shelby County Juvenile Court won't make you pay.
I was down there in handcuffs and chains.
Over the years, Edward Bowdery had his driver's license stripped and once even found himself in handcuffs over child support payments for a child that's not his.
I would hate to see somebody else go through the same thing. I've been going through this. Headaches.
This mound of paperwork shows a juvenile court judge ordered him to pay child support even before the birth.
I didn't.
Paying child support before the birth. All right. This is not a thing. When women say, when feminine, can't say certain words in videos, you get demonetized. When people who are after a certain agenda say they want equality, why is this not a topic that's talked about? If you want us to be equal, why are you allowed to take money from a person without any legal issues? This is criminal. You're stealing. Not only are you stealing money and resources, you're stealing time. That man can never get those years he dedicated to a child that's not his back. He can never get that money back. That's criminal. That should be looked at in the same light as beating somebody up. If I just get angry and beat a woman the fuck up, it's a problem. Okay, but if she steals 18 years worth of resources, it's just oopsies. And there's no problem here, but everybody want equality, right? Let's continue, man.
Do a voluntary acknowledgement. I didn't sign the birth certificate. All I knew is we legitimated the child in your name.
Bowery asked several judges during several hearings for a DNA test, but no judge ordered one.
I said, how did I even get put on child support? And I never said this was my child. And they said, again, this is not what we're here for.
In 2009, he took the child himself to get a DNA test and found the son he'd supported for years was not biologically his. He took the documentation to court. The judge wouldn't accept it, but ordered a new DNA test done that showed the same results. Probability of paternity, 0%.
Imagine, okay? Imagine you knowing this child is not yours. You going through the steps to prove the child isn't yours, and a judge saying, it doesn't matter. We don't care. That's literally them saying, we just don't care. All right? We don't. And why isn't DNA test mandatory? Everything is about money. Always look for the money when you want to find corruption or something weird that you don't understand. That just doesn't make sense. Because the government makes more money off child support than they, or off mandating in the judges and whatever through doing child support than they would if they just said, here's a DNA test to prove if you're actually the father or not. They make more money through fraud child support than they would through giving people DNA tests. It's always look for the money. Let's continue.
They never did do what they were originally supposed to do, which was give me the opportunity to take a DNA test. I was just a voice not being heard. So I guess I needed a choir.
Juvenile court magistrate Nancy Kessler agreed in October to allow Bowery to disestablish paternity, but only after, he says, she admonished him for taking it this far.
The judge stated that, well, I find it very distasteful that you're bastardizing a child.
The judge stopped the child support.
Look at that. How can you win? How can you win? And this is why the suicide rate for men is much higher than women. This is why. Because nobody hears us or cares about what we say. Shut up and produce is what they want you to do. It's just like shut up and dribble. Shut up and perform, okay? We don't care about your problems as a man in the world. We don't care about the pressures of having to make decisions for a whole family. We just want you to shut up and keep milking out resources, okay? This is a huge problem. And the fact that the judge could show distaste for a man for proving that a child isn't his and not wanting to take care of it, why is he now obligated to take care of a child that is not his? Why is he looked down upon? You are looked down upon for not taking care for not taking care of a child that is not yours. Why is the woman not being looked at as, how are you having sex with two people at the same time to the point where you don't know who the father of your child is? That's her. That the problem is with her. She didn't think about that when she laid down with other people while she was with somebody. She is the problem. She should be put in prison. Okay, that might be too much, but there should be some kind of legal. What? There's no punishment for this? But everything is fair, right? And everybody just hates women. It's not about, it's all hate for women. Men don't have it hard anywhere in the world. It's all easy for men. And it's just hard for women. Let's continue.
Going forward, but Bowery still has to pay $460 a month to the mother in back pay. He doesn't believe he should have to pay anything. In fact, he believes someone
Back pay for a child that is not his. It's criminal.
owes him money, the $30,000 he's already paid. Administrators at juvenile court denied our request for an interview on this case, saying it's not appropriate to comment about rulings. What are the chances of him getting his money back?
It is very unusual and very infrequent.
Family lawyer Miles Mason.
It is very unusual and very infrequent. That's him saying, without being able to say it's never going to happen, that's him saying it's possible, not probable. All right? It's not happening, sir. You just lost all your money. You might as well donate it to charity. Because at least somebody maybe would have came, at least some CEO would have stole your charity money and then lived off of it instead of giving it to the people you should have. You should have just donated it to charity. Toys for Tots. All right, because it would have been put to better use. Some CEO would at least got a yacht out of the deal. All right, he ain't getting his money back, y'all. It's criminal. It's theft. Let's continue.
And says in a similar case, the Tennessee Supreme Court ruled a man in Middle Tennessee could sue his ex-wife for fraud. He got a $100,000 judgment.
There was a very large judgment awarded against the mother, but I doubt it would be likely that they would be able to collect in most cases.
This bill is simple, that a person who is proven not to be the biological father.
State Representative G.A. Hardaway says he's heard from a number of fathers in his district who were like Bowery. He introduced a bill letting them file civil lawsuits against the biological fathers, but it never made it out of committee.
To a degree, justice needs to be served. I think it needs to be a totally different, a new law.
So the man tried to pass a bill that says that the baby father, not even the mother who is responsible for sleeping with both of them, but the original baby, the actual baby father would have to pay him back, the perceived baby father, money. And that didn't even make it through. Okay? Where is the responsibility for your actions here? Not only do I feel like he should be paying it back, I believe the woman that laid down with both the men should be paying it back. If anybody, she's the most responsible for the situation. Don't you think? But everything's nothing to see here, folks. Everything is nice and fair and even and equal. There's no oppression again. I won't say oppression. There are no cons to being a man. It's all a party. It's a party over here. It's not hard to be a man at all. Anybody could do that.
Something.
The question many people might ask, why is Bowery still paying back pay to the child's mother? Well, we're told by law, the new judge he's dealing with can't undo another judge's ruling. For the On Your Side investigators, Stephanie Skurlock, WREG News, Channel 3.
Family lawyers say if you're not married, get a court order declaring that you're the father, and as part of that order, get a DNA test. Don't wait. If you wait, you can wake up owing tens of thousands of dollars before you know it.
Absolutely disgusting. It's just, I'm not necessarily a men's rights guy, okay? I believe, like I always say, there are pros and there are cons to being a man. There are pros and there are cons to being a woman. All right? But when it comes to raising a child for 18 years that is not yours, and 18 years is the minimum, all right? Because I know when I hit 18, my mama didn't stop caring about me. She didn't stop helping me when I went through college. To keep it up. And I had a full scholarship in college. And she still had to help me with things in college. And that was going all the way up into my 20s. All right. So 18 years is the minimum. And to take that time and the resources, it's just, there should be some punishment is what I'm saying. I think it'd be hard to disagree. As men and women, can we both disagree on that at least? That horrible people should get punished. And I always say it, if there is such thing as toxic masculinity, I'm going to say it anyway. I don't care about the monetization. There is such thing as toxic masculinity. This has to be an example of toxic femininity. All right. Till next time, y'all.